We should be clear about who Charlie Kirk was, a man who believed that the Civil Rights Act that granted Black Americans the right to vote was a mistake, who after the violent attack on Paul Pelosi claimed that, quote, some amazing patriot, unquote, should bail out his brutal assailant, and accused Jews of controlling, quote, not just the colleges, it's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it, unquote. His rhetoric and beliefs were ignorant, uneducated, and sought to disenfranchise millions of Americans, far from the working tirelessly to promote unity, unquote, asserted by the majority in this resolution. It is equally important that Congress does unite to reject the government's attempt to weaponize this moment into an all-out assault on free speech across the country, all in the name of Charlie Kirk. President Trump and the FCC are now cynically threatening to shut down ABC and any outlets who give airtime to the administration's political critics. This is a disgusting attack on the American people and the very First Amendment rights that define us as a country. It is also the ABC Corporation's responsibility to refuse to embolden and participate in this corruption and escalation of censorship. We continue to pray for Mr. Kirk's family and loved ones in the wake of this terrible act. I am thinking especially of his children and his wife, whose grief cannot be measured. We should be clear.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Again, there's AOC, probably one of the dumbest politicians to ever do it. Again, smearing Charlie Kirk there on the floor. Again, the quote she was saying, I'm sure when Charlie was saying whatever, if she was direct quoting him, he was probably using that as an example of, this is things that silly people believe. And then she's being like, oh, this is what he believed. Again, this is why the people on our political adversaries or people on the other side who are probably good-natured or not lost believe terrible things about Charlie Kirk. Because politicians they follow spout this nonsense and say he believes the Jews control the weather. You know, it's like, what? I mean, again, someone like myself or Chad, we've probably watched hours of Charlie Kirk stuff. Never once have I heard him say anything like that. You know what I mean? And they probably just said, ChatGPT, find me something that Charlie Kirk said. Doesn't matter what context it's in.
Well, there's a reason why she said quote, unquote constantly, is because she's snipping just the pieces that she wants out of there, because that's how they avoid getting into trouble. Like, this is a quote from him. I said, well, that's not the full quote. Yeah, that's a quote.
This is, like when people, use the Bible against you. It's like going, it says do not judge in the Bible. It says, yes, but what it's saying is don't judge someone if you have that exact same sin and problem. It says correct yourself so you can better judge and better correct the people who are in or trapped in that sin that you were once trapped in. So again, it's don't judge. Like, I mean, again, they only pick the stuff that they like. It's like, don't judge. Oh, that means you can just do whatever you want. So again, we're missing the broader context. And again, she is a snake. She is. Again, she's the type of person who she was elected to that position. Not elected, she was selected. She went to auditions to become the politician for her area.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's
Justice Democrats or whatever it was, made up by Sink Uger and what's that other guy, Kyle Kalinski's organization, which they disavow now. They're like, yeah, the organization didn't do what we wanted it to do, so we don't approve of it anymore.
Again, so it's like all these people create these organizations. It's like going, we're gonna save America, and then they end up disavowing the organizations they created because they don't have any moral foundations. Do you think Charlie Kirk is upset with the direction of his company? Probably not. He's probably like, oh, no, we're good. We're good. Everything's going okay.
And also her telling them that, Trump is using the FCC and to censor his political, adversaries, political opponents or journalists that disagree with him. Little a little late for us to be feeling sorry about that when they did that to Tucker Carlson. They did that to Megyn Kelly. I mean, we can go through the list of people who were banned by the left.
Yeah,
that were
what's
fired
funny
from
was
their jobs.
I saw a meme. Somebody, I think it was of one of our college friends, posted. Goes, Roseanne Barr was cancel culture, and they go, yeah, that happened under the Trump administration, dum dums. And it's like, well, you're missing the point. It's not Trump in the Trump administration that got Roseanne Barr canceled. It was people on the left canceling her for criticizing a Democrat politician.
Yep. That's exactly
so it's not
right.
Trump's people that were like, cancel Roseanne Barr.
Yeah.
It was, again, Democrats using the power of cancel culture to cancel Roseanne. Again, they think that this point, well, it happened under the Trump administration. That's irrelevant. It doesn't mean anything. But again, they think it does.
Trump did not use the FCC to tell them to fire Roseanne Barr. Trump did not be like, hey, I don't like Roseanne Barr, fire her.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point. It's like it was a bunch of left-wing people who started coming out of the woodworks.
You'd think Trump would use his power to be like, hey, she said something racist. Get her reinstated as fast as possible.
Yeah, really.
That's what you, as Democrats, would think. But again, logic goes out the window when it comes to Trump derangement syndrome. Nothing has to make sense. It just has to be political hackery and political partisanship is my ideology.
Mm-hmm. But the big news today for our show is Gavin Newsom versus Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC, and they're both fighting for a presidential spot in the 2028 election.
Yeah.
And that's the big news today. I have the Hill. Allies to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC, Democrat New York, says that she is weighing in a number of options as she considers her next step in her political career, including a potential run for president. The allies say that she is considering a possible challenge to the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat New York, amid frustrations of a number of Democrats who say the party needs to clear the way for fresh voices, which by that they mean communists.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't she be considering this? Said one of the sources who has spoken to the Congresswoman about her options. She is one of the biggest political voices in the Democratic Party. She fundraises like nobody else, and she is authentic and true to herself. Can't say about a lot of the other people in the party. Democratic strategist Joel Payne, who has not spoken to the Congresswoman, added that one of the clear advantages that she offers not only energy and generational change, but a built-in constituency. Yeah, very few people on the other side of the aisle can offer that. Can offer that off the gate. He said. On the other side, what are you talking about? Like, the right has a complete and total grassroots efforts, especially with the death of Charlie Kirk now.
It's false framing, but that's what they do. Again, isolate your opponents, make them feel like nothing they do is good. You know.
Axios first reported that Ocasio-Cortez, also known as AOC, is eyeing a presidential run in 2028, potentially as a Senate bid. Some of the Democrats on Friday celebrated the news of Ocasio-Cortez considering a run for president. Democrats have desperate shot for arm a year after the Democrats lost not only the White House, but the Senate and the House. Since then, Democrats have lacked direction and message that can appeal to voters. Yeah, their appeal to voters is anti-Trump, which is only bringing in the most violent and evil people that you can possibly imagine.
AOC doesn't have any message. I mean, what her message would be like, we should all be socialists and communists. Like, that's not a unifying message for the Democrats. There are a lot of Democrats who are like, I know a lot of Democrats are like, yeah, no, socialism, communism, yay. But I think, you got your blue dog Democrats who are still like, communism? What? Wasn't JFK against communism? I like JFK.
Mm-hmm. Well, they don't really like JFK anymore because if you like JFK, you must like RFK. You must like RFK Jr. So therefore, you're Hitler.
Yeah.
But Ocasio-Cortez has been a bright spot in an otherwise dismal year for Democrats. She has appeared alongside Bernie Sanders, who has mass appeal on the left thanks to his 2016 and 2020 bids for president, on the national tour dubbed Fighting the Oligarchy. Yeah, you guys are the oligarchy. The Democratic Party was the oligarchy, especially with Biden in office, because Biden clearly wasn't in charge. Mm-hmm. So it was an oligarchy of
unelected bureaucrats.
Unelected Democratic bureaucrats. Democrats' rising star, who held town halls in upstate New York over the summer, signaling to some of that she was taking a possible Schumer challenge seriously. Progressives say that it isn't a far-fetched to think that the Congresswoman could win in a primary. For the starters, she is the top fundraiser in the Democratic Party, luring unprecedented amounts of dollar checks, particularly for a House member. She also has the ability to speak directly with tens of millions of online followers on platforms including TikTok, Instagram, and Blue Sky, all of which are. So Instagram's kind of the more moderate one of those, but Blue Sky is already threatening. I don't know if you watched that show that I talked about, but Blue Sky's already given out warnings to send out administrative warnings. People who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, you are warned that you will be, banned or, given like a warning or something.
Yeah.
And it was a huge thing that went over all the platform, not just to one person. It was like a huge thing that went out to everybody.
Again, what's so crazy about that Blue Sky thing is, remember, only Democrats operate on Blue Sky. Like, if there are conservatives on there, they're just there to see what's going on. They're there to get a get a pulse, a political pulse on what they're talking about and what they're doing.
I forget who it was, but one of the people that we follow, like Tim Pool or somebody, like tried getting a Blue Sky account, and they posted like one conservative thing, and they immediately got like either a warning or a ban. Yeah, immediately.
Again, Blue Sky is completely lost to the left. It's an echo chamber of nothing but left-wing dogmatic ideas. Again, we wonder why people are moving further to the left. It's because the left's only talking to themselves on these social media apps.
Mm-hmm. Exactly right. But according to the report in Axios, she's spent millions of dollars growing and cultivating her online following and obtaining lists of donors and potential supporters that could help boost her fundraising. Her ascension in both government and politics does foreshadow a growing political movement, said the Democratic strategist Basil Smikle. Why do these people always have these weird freaking names?
I don't know.
Who served as an executive director of the New York State Democratic Party. Now, the question is that the reciprocal statewide nationality, Smikle said, I think it is. The Democratic strategist agreed, saying that there is opening for Ocasio-Cortez if she wants one in the race in 2028. To the extent that Bernie Sanders is not running again, she has the opportunity to take the mantle and the voters who have fervently supported him, not to mention the next generation of young voters. The Democratic strategist look at these people's names. Rodell, Mulligan, these people don't even have like American-sounding names. Mm-hmm. Ocasio-Cortez, Malino, or whatever your name is, said whatever something not American would likely run the same pitfalls as the other progressive candidates would, including the idea that her policies and philosophies are too far left for the country. They are. That being said, anyone who can tell that where the voters are going in 2028 is lying. There's one theory that says that after 4 years of President Trump, people might actually want to go back to normal, he added. But there's also those who think that the pendulum is going to swing all the way to the other side and want a candidate to break the system. The latter theory works better in her candidacy. Yeah, so they literally want her to break the system. They want her to destroy and topple down the government as is. There are those who think Ocasio-Cortez would have a better shot at winning the Senate race, uprooting Schumer in the same way she blindsided Rep. Joe Crowley. Said they didn't upset Joe Crowley. As Nancy Pelosi even said, you could put a D on a glass of water in her district and win.
Yes.
Like that is a Democratic district. It doesn't matter which one. Whoever's the more popular Democrat's going to win, Yeah. A 10-term incumbent and the fourth most powerful Democrat at the time in 2018, which everybody goes, who's Joe Crowley? Who is Joe Crowley?
Yeah.
Like the fourth most powerful Democrat of all time.
Joe Crowley.
Who is that? The Congresswoman can tap into the generational anger in her party and that they are feeling. She could win the Senate, and one source told Sanders her Sanders orbit, who has spoken to Ocasio-Cortez, adding that the running for president still seems like a step too far for her. But the Democratic strategist said winning the Senate also seems insurmountable. Schumer sees her coming a effing mile away, the strategist said, and he has relationships that go back decades. One of the unknown factors for Ocasio-Cortez's candidacy in either race, multiple Democrats said whether Zoran Mondani, whom she has staunchly supported, is able to win the New York City mayoral race, and if so, how effective he is at governing. If it's a complete train wreck, it'll really hurt her chances, one political strategist said. Either way, one thing is for certain, few people have her star power. Regardless of whether you whether you think AOC is a viable candidate, she will get more airtime and attention than other hopefuls. Hopefuls will with longer resumes. Yep, that's it.
Sad day. We better jump into the memes. We're already running time.
Oh yeah. So here we go. So, speaking of that, we also have, what is this? Oh yeah. For all those people that said that she was that Elon Musk was giving the old salute, here she is. Elon Musk reposts this. Hey, AOC, is this you?
Again, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, all these people who have ever made a kind of a motion like that, accused of being a Nazi. I mean, is she not a Nazi by proxy then?
I mean, yeah, she's a socialist. She supports democratic socialism, which is Nazi, what does Nazi stand for? National Socialist.
Nah, the National Socialist Party.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what that is. She is more related to Hitler than Donald Trump ever is as a capitalist.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
All right. Then the next talking point we have here is Gavin Newsom, which is the other person. Yeah.
Planning on being a candidate for the 2028 run. So.
Yeah, which we don't really talk about him because we've talked about him nonstop. Anytime California comes up in the news, Gavin Newsom is there.
Yes, Gavin Newsom, failed state of California. But I mean, like, again, what I was telling you the other day, it's like I was going through a thing of like whenever he passed a bill putting protections for illegal immigrants. Like, I mean, they literally think he's Jesus over there. Like, I mean, I don't get it. But again, people just are so weaponized against. Migration is just such a hot button issue, especially, I mean, when you have a huge group of people who are obviously illegals and you're putting protections to keep them there, who the heck do you think they're going to vote for? You mean illegal people who came here illegally are going to vote for the party that's going to make sure they get rights and the ability to vote? No wonder we can't win elections anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And no wonder whenever the culture is radically shifting.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's like even for the people like, oh, they can't vote, which first off, how many times have we seen them forge Social Securities or give them Social Security numbers and give them IDs? And they're driving here. They have licenses and stuff.
And again, it doesn't matter either. So even if they can't vote,
they still add to the population.
Yeah, they add to the total population, which gets California additional seats in the, is it the Senate? No, it's the House of Representatives.
Yeah,
so they get additional voting power in the House of Representatives based on population alone.
Yep.
So again, every illegal person brought in gets the Democrats another seat in the House of Representatives.
Which that's why it should be population should only be citizen population.
Citizen.
Legal citizen population.
Voter population.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, here's this guy, and like, again, this is such a true statement. Like, for all those people that were going after Trump for Stormy Daniels, at least Stormy Daniels was like a prostitute, and he had like no interest, or a porn star, or whatever she was.
Yeah, he had
no intentions of marrying this woman or whatever. This Gavin Newsom, check out Gavin Newsom right here.
If you can't trust Gavin with his best friend's wife, how can you trust him with your state? If you can't trust Gavin...
So for those of who don't know, Gavin Newsom had an affair with his... What was he?
I think he was his best friend and campaign manager. He said supposedly his campaign manager and best friend at the time, and he cheated on him with his wife.
So he cheated on his best friend with it. He cheated on his wife with his best friend's wife. So current wife, who's an attractive lady who was like some type of Hollywood writer or executive assistant, something like that, with his best friend and campaign manager's wife. Again, what that guy said is perfect. I mean, if you can't trust him with your best friend's wife, who can you? You can't trust him with your state.
Just again, so all those people that said that Donald Trump is such a bad guy for the Stormy Daniels thing, why are you supporting Gavin Newsom?
Yeah, I mean, your best friend's supposed to be like your brother. You know, it'd be like me having an affair if Chad had a wife. I'd be like, yeah, hey, no, it's cool. Like, I mean, you trust me with your. You can't trust. Again, how could you? Anybody that you call your friend, how could you have an affair with their wife?
Yeah.
It's like, 100%. I mean, it's scumbaggery at its finest, you know? It's like, yes, what Donald Trump did with Stormy Daniels, cheating on his wife, I mean, we've always known Donald Trump was a billionaire playboy philanthropist. Like, that's who he is. He's like Tony Stark. Gavin Newsom did it with his best friend's wife. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but here is we're going to do this next thing. This next video here is the CNN polls talking about the rising popularity of who's going to be president with Donald Trump. This is only like a 4-minute video, so it'll be relatively quick.
Yeah, that's
so,
right.
Democrats plot their political path forward. Axios is reporting there's been increased buzz about New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and whether she's eyeing a bigger role in the party, potentially positioning her for either a Senate seat or a presidential run in 2028. CNN's chief data analyst Harry Enton joining me now. The fun team
Sarah.
back together again.
Yes.
No, so the Democrats are looking very different than
that's the other thing too. Is this guy's been memed into oblivion because
he's always wrong.
No, yeah, the Democratic polls are always going the opposite directions. Like Democrats are in the gutters, Republicans are up. You know, it's every time this guy's on here. Well, according to the polls, everyone's actually favoring the Republican views, and it's every time. It's not once in a while, it's every time.
They did back in the days when her very close political ally, Bernie Sanders, and his mittens were in the race. So just how much change are you seeing here in the party?
You know, when Bernie Sanders first ran for the presidency about a decade ago, I just think it's just such a tectonic shift within the Democratic electorate. Okay, early choices for the Dem presidential nominee. Back in June of 2014, look, Hillary Clinton was way ahead of everybody with 69%. Bernie Sanders was like in 9th or 10th place with just 2%. Look at where we are right now in September of 2025. Look how much closer AOC is to the top now than Bernie Sanders was back a decade ago. She's at 12%, so she has 6 times his amount of support. But more than that, look how much closer she is to the leader. Gavin Newsom leads the field right now, but just with 21%. She is within 10 points of Gavin Newsom. I never thought I would have seen the day when someone as liberal as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is to the leader. She's 9 points back as opposed to what? 67 points back Bernie Sanders was a decade ago at this point. If we thought Bernie Sanders was a long shot back in June of 2014, at this particular point, AOC has a very real shot, at least according to the early numbers that we see so far.
I can't believe it's been 10 years. That's what's free.
Okay.
So,
getting to this real quick is like right here. This goes to show you is like the Democrats are completely divided. This goes to show you that the Democrats have no direction, no leadership right here. Is like, look, almost 70% for Hillary Clinton back in 2014. So Bernie Sanders wasn't even close. Now it's only 21% for the top runner, which is Newsom. AOC right behind him with only by 9 points, and it goes to show you that where's the 70%, where's the 80%? Like this goes to show you that the other people are giving their votes to other people. Like what was it, like Ben Shapiro, Gretchen Whitmer, people like that. Like there is no unity in the Democratic Party right now.
Yeah,
period.
well, I mean, number two, it's also a scary shift. The fact that someone like AOC can amass that kind of street cred and that amount of favorability in the polls goes to show you how far left the Democratic Party has moved. Again, they all accuse the right of going far right, but every time they do like a political view, it's like the right hasn't moved. The right's never moved. They're stuck in the same spot they've been stuck in since the 50s.
Yep.
It's the left that just keeps going far that way. And AOC's popularity there proves that fact. It's like, what do you, like, when would we ever elect a socialist communist type in America? It's like, well,
2% popularity for a socialist communist type Bernie Sanders in 2014 to 10 years later, now we have a 10% increase of that popularity.
Yeah.
Which I would have to attribute it to mass immigration.
Yeah.
Because where else is it coming from? Other countries do not have the type of governments and political structures that we do. They come from very authoritarian governments. Like everyone's always like, everyone that comes under the fact that they think that all governments are the same. It's like, no, not
or
at all.
Mexico, where the cartels run the voting systems.
Exactly. So these other countries are being run by governments that aren't even remotely close to ours, and they're like, oh, everyone's the same. We're all one global people. It's like, no, you're going to destroy the foundations of our society, bringing in people who don't understand how our systems work and how our traditions work. Again,
it's like whenever if you bring people in, it's like in my country we don't have guns, never needed guns. It's like why do Americans need guns? It's just a silly thing to have. It's like, well, guns are a big part of what made America America. And people who come here from other places that never had guns are going to be like, I don't understand that. You don't need guns. That's silly.
Yeah, remember,
it'll be safer without guns.
The British tried to take away Americans' armory. Like, that was the whole point of the first, like, major battle of the Revolutionary War, was they were coming to take, like, the armory that had all the rifles. And the Americans are like, nope.
Not today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we better jump ahead and start looking at the rest of these means. We're busting time.
Absolutely. I think this is just what we showed at the beginning, just a long.
I think one of the.
Oh yeah, and the fact that this girl is a constant liar. The January 6th thing, she was afraid that she was going to be sexually abused during January 6th, where we found out that she was not in the same building where the protests were being happened, and 2, at the time that the police officer came to find her, she was not. They hadn't even broke the barricade yet. They hadn't even gone over the barricades yet.
Yeah.
So she completely lied about January 6th, about her involvement in January 6th. So she is just like Gavin Newsom, she's a liar. She is a habitual liar, and there's like no remorse in this.
Well, no remorse, and there's no accountability on the Democratic side either. Like, no one's ever going to hold her accountable. Like, no, something bad happened during January 6th, therefore anything she says is valid and justified. It's like, if Trump or any Republican had made timeline errors like she made, they would be crucified in the media. They'd be crucified by people on the left.
Yeah. So we'll just watch this real quick, and you can see, like, I'll show you the most, I think is the most fake little, just like thing right here. I'll show you.
I
You'll
think
laugh.
one of the reasons why that impact was so doubled that day is because of the misogyny and the racism that is so deeply rooted and animated that attack on the Capitol. You know, white supremacy and patriarchy are very linked in a lot of ways. There's a lot of sexualizing of that violence.
What?
And I didn't think that I was just going to be killed. I thought other things were going to happen to me as well.
So what sounds like what you're telling me right now is that you didn't only think that you were going to die, you thought you were going to be raped.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought I was.
You see that? You see that? That's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about.
And that you now understand.
Go back. Let's look at that.
And that.
I thought I was.
I thought
that is, someone's lying. That's like a little kid caught in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I was.
Yeah, no, that'd be like, imagine me doing that. I thought I was going to get raped. My God.
It's so stupid.
And that you now understand, having thought about it.
Get this girl some acting class. No wonder she couldn't cut it as an actress. Remember, she was trying to be like a Hollywood like actress or something at this
dancer,
point.
all kinds of stuff.
And then they're like, oh, why don't you come try out for an audition for politics for Justice Democrats? We'll see if we can't get you elected. She's like, sure.
Experience.
Yeah. I think so. I think so. Survivors have a very strong set of skills. And the skills that are required as a survivor, the tools that you build for resilience, they come back in right away. And for me, I felt like those skills were coming right back so that I could survive. And my skills were to survive.
Oh, my God.
A way to describe your skills without describing what your skills are.
I have a particular set of skills.
It's to survive situations that actually aren't quite dangerous. It's actually quite safe.
Mm-hmm. So stupid. So stupid. Okay. Yeah, but love this right here. You're going to like this, too. I'm going to shrink this down just a hair. Okay. Let me restart it. Said Dennis Prager doing Dennis Prager things. Owning this libtard right here. I love it. Listen to this. You're going to love this. And this is how I feel like AOC is like, how much danger were you in? It's like, considering that you weren't in the same building, like the building was like, I think like a quarter mile away at least. Mm-hmm. And then 2, she's like, they hadn't even broke the barrier at the time. And she's like, I was in danger, but listen to this. Like, this is how I feel how dangerous it was for her. Check out Dennis Prager talking to this libtard.
Name even one day that was deadlier than January 6th.
Yeah, any weekend in Chicago.
day more dangerous than January 6th. Any weekend in Chicago.
Hey, just remember this, guys. I was almost raped.
But speaking of this, like I've shown this one before, but I absolutely love it. Is like Republicans right now with all the Democrats lying about Charlie Kirk.
Again, and this is due to the grace of God and the grace of Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica. Like I said, this is not coming to fruition right here, the Doomslayer music. So it's activated and it's playing in people's heads, and we're not going to forget what happened to Charlie. But, I mean, imagine if she was like, instead of saying, I forgive that man, it's like, we have to go to war. You know? It's like
100%.
We'd be having the political temperatures would be very different right now if she was not a Christian. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Said next one I have here, shown this one before too, but Dr. Peterson debating that one lady. I forget her name.
Yeah.
But it's just like, the shooter was deeply indoctrinated with leftist ideology, according to anyone who knew him. Said the Democrats. So what you're saying is he was a Republican. And that's AOC trying to spin everything about this.
That's the Democrat. I mean, that's literally what Jimmy Kimmel was doing the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to pretend that this guy was anybody other than someone up their own. You know, it's like, what?
Mm-hmm. Said spring in which this one too, shown this one before too, but still great. The Office meme.
Mm-hmm.
If someone is a Nazi or a fascist, they wouldn't be having a civil debate with you.
Yep. So true.
Said if you Christians acted more like Jesus, everybody would love you. They crucified Jesus.
Again, if you tell people the truth, they tend to not like the truth. People don't like it when you hold the mirror up to them and show them what they're doing wrong.
Mm-hmm. And just remember, this is the last one before we'll kind of end it out, was remember, your Congress folks booed them trying to have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Your Democratic Congress folks booed for this moment.
Yeah. Again, imagine if we had booed imagine if Republicans said, didn't, what's his name, Jimmy Carter pass away recently?
Yeah.
So imagine if Republicans were like, no, boo, no moment of silence for Jimmy. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, same, like the best one I've ever heard was, what's her name? What's the one that was on the Supreme Court?
Oh, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, yeah, her. Like Donald Trump, there's a video of Donald Trump. Actually, I might try to pull that up. It's like talking about when she died.
I didn't know that. You just told me she had an amazing career. Yeah,
that's exactly what he said. So you quoted
he came
it
off
verbatim.
of Marine One. He was coming off Marine One.
Yeah, exactly. So he came off of that, and like there was no. Where were all these Republican, commentators or like political figures that were saying, "Oh, what's her name?
Gretchen. No. Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. F her. She was the worst, We did that. Every single one. I was like, well, I didn't disagree with her, but, I'm sorry to hear that she's passed,
Yeah, again,
like, that's how Republicans operate, whereas the left's like, kill their family.
Yeah, there is no grace afforded to people on the right. Again, there's a party that believes in God, believes in eternity, and believes that every person is created in the image of God. And then you have another party that's mostly atheistic and secular, and, again, there's no forgiveness because there doesn't have to be. Like, I don't have to forgive you for anything you do to me. Why should I? You're trying to stop my worldview from coming to fruition. You are my enemy. You are Satan. Again, if you don't believe in God in heaven, whoever your enemies here on earth are the devil. They are Satan. We don't view you that way. We just think that you're silly.
Yeah.
It's like we are evil because we're attempting to stop your worldview from coming to fruition.
Yep. So we'll check this out again real quick. I've played this before, but we'll see it again.
What purpose did the gentlelady from Colorado rise?
Shh. Can't hear it because their mic is off, but she's calling for a prayer and moment of silence for Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. We will join prayer right after this, okay? What purpose is the gentlelady from...
Yeah, you couldn't hear, but they were booing. Like, it was very hard to hear in that one, but they were all booing that.
Yeah.
And like I said, they all say, then they say in the background, you all caused this. Which, you know, their rhetoric clearly has. Their violent rhetoric has caused a lot of this stuff to happen.
Yeah.
The greatest enemy of the United States is the Democratic Party.
Probably not wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's all I've got. I was going to play it out with this guy here that used to, I guess, run track with AOC.
I just think it's a...
Yeah.
Ending us out, like, talking about how she is not from the Bronx. She's like, I'm a Bronx girl. You know, and it's like, she is not from the Bronx. She is not tough. There is nothing about this girl. This girl was grew up in upper middle class society. Again,
It's amazing that certain Democratic politicians are afforded such grace and can lie about stuff. It'd be like, I grew up in Detroit. You know, it's like if I was running for office, I grew up in Detroit, and I know what it's like to grow up tough and grow up hard and without a mother and a father. They'd be like, wow, cool. And then they'd be like, they'd crucify me because like, oh, he's a Republican. We can't let him have that. You know, it's like AOC and Democrats are afforded such grace, are afforded such leeway to say things that aren't true, as where we and Republicans are not. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, again, if a Republican said, I was born at, 7/29 on, Easter Sunday, it's like, fact check false. He was actually born at 7/31 on Easter Sunday, so he lied about the timeline. Oh, I'm sorry, I was 2 minutes off. But again, that is the level of fact checking that they will go to when they're on the left. CNN will not let you get away with that. They'll let AOC get away with murder. They'll get away with AOC going, yeah, January 6th, before the riots broke out, before anything happened, I thought I was going to get raped. They let her get away with that on TV to frame a narrative. Again, if you didn't watch that video and come away with frame the narrative, all you think of January 6th was the most dangerous day in history. It's like Dennis Prager just dumped on that dude like, oh, I think you mean any other weekend in Chicago? Remember, nobody died January 6th except for 2 Trump supporters.
Yep. Ashley Babbitt, and I forget the other one's name.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So, again, here we are, fighting to keep up with the lies that the Democratic Party keeps putting out,
But that's pretty much all we've got for today.
Yeah.
So be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But that's pretty much all we've got for today, I guess.
Yep. That's all we've got. We'll see you later, everybody. God bless you.
See you later, everybody.
I just think it's a bold-faced lie. And I saw the attacks on the president and her claims that she's a big, tough Bronx girl. The fact of the matter is she grew up in Yorktown. She was on my track team. And everybody in our community knows this is just a bold-faced lie.
Yes.
I know exactly what neighborhood AOC grew up in. I was a supervisor there for 3 years. And I can tell you that it is nothing like the Bronx. Yeah. We were on the same track team. I was a senior. She was a freshman. Our paths didn't cross too much. But, again, the fact of the matter is she grew up in Yorktown. She's a product of Yorktown. To sit there and say that she's a Bronx girl is just patently ridiculous.